And we are live. I am doing part two and another one. You know, part of the problem with the K-holes and going through them is the memories. And it's hard to deal with sometimes because they're bad and they're traumatic, and especially the ones I went through. Normally, what's done is they give you ketamine and then you process trauma, where I was giving it and they gave me trauma. So that's how I thought of it now. Um, I am dealing with it, and that's how I'll do it, you know. But today has been a hard day, and I promised myself and for you people that I wouldn't cry on here. Not that crying is bad, but nobody wants to listen to that bullshit on here. And I am dealing with it by talking, and living through it has been awful, but I don't know how else to do it. So living through all this and living through um, trauma going on, I have to take it day by day and second by second, because it's really, really bad stuff. And so dealing with it now has been I sorry, it's just dealing with it is bad, and having to go through it and walk through it and um talk about it is awful. Um, I don't know how else to deal with it. Um, and it's just difficult to understand. I find that ketamine is dangerous, and I've thought about um, redoing it, the process, but I know that people are going to get fucked up. So, and I got to try to find a good malpractice attorney and sue, get litigious. And the litigious isn't, I don't want it for the money. It's not it. But it is a punishment to keep them accountable. I I just want to make sure that he is everybody is held accountable. And it's been a rough week, but I'm sure I'll have more memories. But the issue is that these memories are awful. So the problem is that my ability to deal with it has been altered from trauma itself, and um, processing it on the spot, and then the Vyvanse supposedly. It's either like she told me, that doctor, you're always gonna be having ketamine. You're always gonna have ketamine. We can touch you anywhere we want. And so we're doing this last bit to let you know we still know what's going on and we still hate you. So when you get your little Suboxone tablet in the shape of a heart, that's us saying we love you and hope you die. So, and that's either Shelbyton, the nurse, or the fake doctors. And anybody else who's done this, I gotta try not to yell, I'm outside. But now I'm paranoid of everything. Every time I see a car stop by, every time I see every time I see anything. And I now have to deal with it. And so they wanted this bullshit. And the issue that was going on too is that, and that was part of the problem. It's a long time ago when before everything got digitalized and before the war really took off, um, is you could fuck the duck, so to speak, with certain things. Like you could go to certain courses, but then, borrow somebody else's thing who passed the course, and then say, I was class, whatever. And then that would allow them to get in certain occupations. Hold on. Sounds of the city. No, the cops, not the ambulance. So you could be like, I'm class, blah, blah, blah. So now you don't have to go to a certain course, and you can just go straight to the job, which is greasy, but it's part of the good old boys club. And usually it's nepotism, basically. That's what it was military nepotism. So And, that throughout the years got exposed. And people tried to say that I was the one who did it. And I was like, yeah, fucking right. Grow up. You're just looking for anything because you don't like me. And a lot of it was because, like I said, there was a few people, they broke up with their girlfriends. I met them in the in-between phase of breaking up. We, had whatever, a physical relationship, and then they went back to their old boyfriends, and there I am, the asshole, and I knew that there was all kinds of fuckery that went on, and the people who were part of destroying my life certainly took part in doing that, especially when I got into the Army. There's a bunch of scumbags, and like they tried to rape my wife. A couple of them did rape my wife, and then I didn't tell people, hey, I'm swinging this and that, because I wasn't that type of dude. But people took advantage and did things they shouldn't have done, and then I got blamed like I allowed it to happen. When I was basically and literally fighting for my fucking life, trying to defend my girlfriend or fiance or spouse. And so, that makes me the piece of shit. And I found that these people were just looking for excuses, and especially my family. I had this uncle I fucking can't stand him. And if he's dead, thank you for your cosmic justice. That cosmic karma came down, but I can't think like that, and that's the problem. Is I have to stop thinking yes and think, well, you got what you deserved, you prick, but I can't celebrate it. And it is wrong to, say that, but it's hard, and I don't know if anyone out there has had that, but it's hard not to celebrate when you see a malicious, abusive, manipulative, creepy piece of shit get the cosmic justice that they deserve. And, I just had a flooding of memories too, all throughout the week. And then I'm with myself and going over it, and I don't know what to do, because my heart tells me one thing, and then, my balls and my mind tell me the other. But so far, some of the people have gotten what they deserved, and while I don't celebrate it, it's hard not to, but I don't. Do I slip and be like, yes, but then I catch myself because I've been there. Karma, I've been there with loss. and it's not fun to have it celebrated or embellished or rubbed in your face. And the other thing too is that, sorry about that, the other issue is, like I said, being a patsy for my family, in which I had one of my cousins say it outright. But we found out who did it and set me up in this situation, and it was, some people I thought I could trust who supposedly ended up being my cousin, but I don't think that it really was. I think they were just playing the fuck game. And now I am sitting here trying not to overreact or have a bad day, because there's a lot of horrible people out there, and I have to not wish they get fucked up. So that's part of my other issue with dealing with things, is that. So, I'm sorry about the spacey part of this episode. I've had a really long week, but I am not going to let that ruin this or make it so this episode is shit. I just get paranoid because when I try to lock my door, it just worries me because of all the break-ins and the scumbags. I found that meditating has helped me, but that only works so long. And I don't want to take Xanax or other substances to relax or calm down, but it gets bad sometimes, And going through trauma, especially bad trauma, only makes a difficult situation worse, especially if you're all fucked up and full of drugs and booze. In my situation, it's hard because I have to see the people, almost regularly, and it's not good. And my other issue is that there's been so much bullshit that I have to, deal with it. And part of the problem was me being too honest. But it's not that I was dishonest about things that I was honest. It's just people can't handle the truth, and just like El Gato in the Doucher crew, it's heartbreaking, but now I know. And part of me is filled with relief, and I feel content. The other part of me is really fucking angry. So I am overall doing all right. I just hope that this helps anybody out there who's been through the same. Because nobody should go through abuse, and nobody should go through abuse at a hospital, and nobody should go through abuse at a veterans hospital. And it doesn't matter how you served or what you served, because I'm not the only veteran who um, hasn't been in the shit, the so to speak shit, which, I've talked to real combat veterans and heavy combat veterans, and there's very few other than special forces, and I'm not talking shit, but I remember a psychologist told me that it's about the same as, the NFL or whatever. It's about 1%. So you got to imagine out of the entire military, only 1% has, been in those awful situations. But to say that you're better than somebody because of it, you're not. It just gives you a different set of perspective and a different view. Where, sorry about that, where others don't. And so, but to rub that in people's faces, or to make somebody feel like they're a worthless piece of shit, or to judge somebody because of it, is really shitty. And that's what I was dealing with these scumbags. But then the other part of the problem was they were dosing me successfully at times. So I just stopped interacting. And then I noticed when I stopped interacting that it only made them angrier. So then they got mad that I wasn't interacting. And I was like, nope, I'm good. Kiss my ass, fuck you. And everybody in their issues. But, in the end, I hope a bunch of these motherfucking cocksuckers go to prison. And excuse my language, but that ain't gonna happen. Where you're gonna, and I mean that ain't gonna happen by, you're not gonna abuse me and kill my kids and then brag about it, or run around and think it's okay to kill and rape and torture little girls, or to purposely make a young boy extremely ill, and that's what, and I'm not saying I had a kid with her, but, Blondie's brother told me, I had a kid with her, and, they told me that the uncle, who I fucking hate and can't stand, they told me that she's the one who gave him that infection. And it's not about diming people out, it's the truth. Judged by, whatever club you're in, or who in society. You're judged by your actions and the truth and how honest you are, by the way you act, and if you have manners, not by if you're, have you been in every special forces branch, And I thank everybody who has served, every cop, and that's the only wrong that I wish I could right, you know. And I've accepted responsibility for my time in the Army, and you know, um, having people judge you because you're not a Green Beret over some fighting that is really gross. Sorry about the wind, people. I like to try to walk and do these because it helps with um, not sitting. What do you call that? Still while doing it, or by having this podcast. And right now, I'm walking past the one lady's house where that murdered my daughter. She lives right over. It's creepy. She moves right near where I live every time. The same thing with one of my ex-wives. So this issue has been going on for so long. I'm happy that this part of me's happy that it has come back, because either the Detroit trailer crash or Zell Bell hypnotized me to forget about it. And I don't want to. I never wanted to. So now I will continue to fight to rectify this for my children that were brutally murdered, and make sure that those who've participated in it are fucking held responsible. My problem is just the bitterness where even when I'm dead, I will hate you and everything that you love. And even when I'm dead, I hope that I fucking haunt you for the rest of your life. And I hope that my children that you've murdered haunt you for the rest of your life. People think it's a fucking game when it's not. And I remember when Elgato and his group of douches tried to confront me, and he was flexing. I was laughing. Fucking hilarious. Scumbag. In my dream, for rectifying this is, and it sounds antiquated, but whatever. Marcus of Queensberry, or Marquess of Queensberry, whatever they want to do, but they won't, because they think it's cool murdering little girls and raping them and chopping them up and then eating them too. I remember during the end when they were like torturing me and stuff like that, they let this scrub that I went to high school with come with his ratchet tranny wife, and they had a bag full of human pieces that they cooked and barbecued, and they were like passing it around in the room. And then that was another thing they did. And I remember there's two of them. There's two rose hands. There's a rose hand that's hot, and she has a big rose on her fist. She's a dime. I don't know if she was one of my girlfriends. I think she was. That's just a soft maybe, but I'm pretty sure. It could be no. But and then the other rose hand or rose thumb is the one who took part in they dissected her in the break room of Building 43, and you know, started eating her. And then they came in the room when they after they killed her, and they I remember the lady with the rose on her thumb came in there, and she was eating a piece of my daughter that they murdered. And then they brought me in at gunpoint and showed me my dead daughter laying there on the table. And then they hit me on the head with the rifle they had, and tied me up. And then the lady with the rose on her thumb came and sat crisscross applesauce and started indulging in long pork, as she called it. So I have no remorse for what happens to those pieces of shit, and I hope that they do sit for the rest of their lives. And I hope that if they do, and I'm hoping there's some justice, that they get their ass beat in prison, or I get to beat the shit out of them. You know, I want there to be justice for my daughters, and son, and I want the cunt who decided to taxidermy my daughters to also sit and her fucking idiot queer boyfriend. You know, and I just say he's queer because he is. I'm not like doing it in a derogatory way. He, you know, supposedly went both ways. And I just hope there's some sort of justice. So I am going to continue a part 2 episode. It's 38 minutes long, but I will be back and talk to you soon. In the meantime, please listen, subscribe, review, and thank you for your time. And please, if you're out there and you know anybody, please help passing this forward and help let people know. And if this has ever happened to you and you feel like you're alone, you're not. So I dedicate every episode to my kids that were brutally murdered. And I love you. And I'm so sorry for what happened, because you deserve better. So we will continue a little bit later. And I will see you next time. Thank you. And should you know anybody who can, assist me with getting justice or help with spreading this to, please let them know and have them contact me. That would be really great. Thank you again.